going on, guys? My name is Kevin. I am the creative producer and director of photography at Two Stories Media, a production company based in Clearwater, Florida, and we travel the state and sometimes out of the state for various projects. Really, we wanted to just start this series to talk about the various productions and projects that we're a part of. Some of them are going to be on productions that we facilitate within our production company, and some of them are going to be projects that we're the crew on, whether it's the G&E department or camera department, anything in between. The very first project we're going to talk about is for a client of ours, Farah & Farah. They are a law firm based up in Jacksonville. They have branches throughout all of Florida and into Georgia. I think they're up to 12, 13, maybe even 14 branches now. So quite a large law firm. And this project specifically was called Energy, and it was a massive ad campaign that ultimately was for the Jacksonville Jaguars, which they are a premier sponsor of. And within the ad campaign, there was also billboards, social media ads, various graphic elements. It was, one of those campaigns that just had multi-layers to it. And that's the one that we're gonna talk about, seeing as we facilitated the production component, and then the ad agency that we collaborated with handled the ad elements. But yeah, we're just gonna talk about the production side. The director was also the animator. He came from a very heavy animation background and has since shifted to directing commercials. But on this one, he wanted to take the animation component for himself, and we are going to call him. His name is Clay Greenhall. He is based up in Jacksonville, so that also kind of helped with the relationship with the client, and he's going to dive into all the animations that were integrated into this project, including the Jaguar, or otherwise known as the cat. So you not only were the director on the spot, but you also handled the animation components. So in terms of that Jaguar, that lovely Jaguar and all that energy, what was your motivation? What was kind of the core elements of what you were going for?
Well, our client wanted very believable and very well done work on it. Obviously, we were working on a bit of a time crunch and had to. I also kind of wanted to go back to very old school compositing techniques. We didn't have the luxury of, say, like having a character animation studio per se work on like 3D for it. So we found a variety of just practical shots of the cats in, whether it's in, zoos or actually in the wild. We found some resources to get that, and then wanted to really perfect sort of traditional rotoscoping. I probably spent the first darn near week of the project working just on getting a really good cutout, a good roto of the cat that appears in one of the opening shots, and then the signature shot of the piece is the shot with all four Farahs and the cat, and that's actually the very first shot I worked on, because from that really kind of birthed the look and feel of the entire piece. Yeah, and that was actually our day one, which I just kind of talked about. And it's funny how day one was just two shots. It was just the Dana Dolly push in with the four Farahs and the cat. We had to account for the cat in our height. So I remember walking up to that region and just kind of putting my hand up. We had a tape measure, and we're like, okay, that's give or take 2 or 3 inches. That's roughly where the top of the cat's head's gonna be. The cat is whatever, a foot wide or whatever our measurements were. So we really had to account for this ghost at the time when we were filming, this ghost cylindrical area of like, okay, this is gonna be the edge of his left, edge of the right. But yeah, I mean, it was nice that our day one was just those two shots.
Like, it made a world of difference. What was your favorite jaguar? What was your favorite cat? Because there was what, five shots that had the cat in it?
That sounds about right.
4, maybe 5? What was your favorite one?
Well, that final one really is probably my favorite. I guess the second one is probably just like when the energy activates from the Farah lobby. Because I was like, we need the cat. The idea is the cat's kind of helping be the source of that.
Yep.
So I needed to find a shot of, you know, a cat kind of engaging with something moving.
Yep.
So that shot, I looked through countless. That is a shot of an animal. It's either in the wild or in a very wild enclosure in some park somewhere. But that one, like, and then there were all kinds of tweaks, like which way it was facing. You know, it had to be flipped, and like, you know, there was a lot of warping effects used to get it to look. And then that actually, I think, was the first shot after I worked on the final shot. And the energy systems, that was you know, that was a good parlor trick, I should say, because typically, like, for years, you know, when I've done all kinds of things with energy, fairy dust, particles, sparkles, things like that, I usually use trap code particular. And I ran into a little bit of a hiccup last summer because my computer at that point was 8 years old, and newer versions in particular, I was having issues getting it to work. And then considering how, you know, many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of particles would be required to create an effect like that, never mind that we've also got like camera tracking happening, and time was not on our side on problem solving for that. So the trade secret on that was all done with Video Copilot's Saber effect, which creates really nice energy particle lightsaber looks. Oh yeah, and then I forgot, there's also like the shock waves, and then the light. One of the requests from Jewel that Farah was having some reflectivity of light in the water, like,
and throughout the sky as well.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that was created with like fractal noise effects, with you know, kind of wiggling the exposure of those. So there's that, and then there's a bunch of shockwave elements to kind of help further motivate like the energy, make it a little more larger than life.
Plenty, and we're hoping to do it again here soon. So we've shifted from day 1, which was the tail end of the spot, to animation and the famous cat, to now day 2, which was the beginning of the video spot that transitioned to about the 20-second mark. So throughout the entirety of day 2, it was still night. We wanted that evening dark look, but it was at the headquarters of Farah & Farah, which they are in downtown Jacksonville. So we started inside, made our way outside. We wanted to make sure we got our talent in and out at a reasonable hour, even though crew call was 8 p.m. So still not really a reasonable hour, but that's what was agreed upon and requested. So everyone knew they were just going to be there late. While we were inside with them, we continued the same trends and vibe of day 1, which was a single key source, primarily from our M18, book lighting almost all of our setups, while using the other M18s as fill and background light. And their building's really interesting. They have their main lobby is on the bottom floor, and then they have floor 2 and floor 3. So those M18s, we were utilizing them on the second and third story balcony, shooting them either across the opening of the lobby or down a long hallway where small doorways or balconies were being seen in some of our frames, and just allowing that that light just to bounce around and hit all the glass and all the artwork and all the metallic objects that were in its path. Now, we still had to have some floppies, kind of as some ciders, making sure we didn't have any spill, any lens hits, which we did have a few of those, but obviously once G&E were able to block out the edge of frame, making sure we didn't have any unwanted lens flares, we still got some beautiful motivated light. Clearly can tell that it was evening even within the building, and still giving us that moonlight feel. So we shot it all in a very particular order, but in the order you see it within the spot, you see Chuck and Eddie entering the Farrah office. You see them walk into the lobby. They receive a text for the game day, which then introduces our cat further. You see them walk in with the cat. It's a beautiful shot. I love it. It's so simple. Just two individuals walking in, animated cat on the side of them, and the cat ultimately sits down and engages with the energy, kind of starts up that run that the energy has, that it goes up through the building, out the top, down a bunch of roads, and really that shot is probably, that shot might be my third favorite shot in the entire piece. I really want to talk about what I think really was my favorite sequence in the entire spot. Yes, the hero shot at the stadium is beautiful. The Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium really kind of makes it, along with the motivation of the video boards and the ribbons, the four Farrahs as we called them. That's beautiful in its own right, but I really think my favorite sequence, my favorite shots in the entire spot are with Dahlia in the mock courtroom that they have at their office. So we see Dahlia sitting at a chair. The energy is rumbling and it catches her attention. She stands up and walks over to the window. Energy flies in front of her face, and then that's the end of that sequence before it ultimately goes up the corridor, the courtyard, the main lobby that is open, and then out the building. That Dahlia sequence, I just fell in love with that overall look from the get-go, and it probably was what I was most excited to shoot in the entire 2 days, even leading up to the production. The log component of Farrah and Farrah. So having that integrated in just kind of tied everything. Once we finished inside with our talent, it really made for a remarkably successful 2 days with the Farrahs and the Farrah and Farrah team, the agency reps. It was great. Had a lot of fun, and it really kind of showed what you can deliver with a minimal setup. Now we're looking to do this sort of content more often, and we would just love to hear your thoughts, your vantage point. What do you like about this? What can we do better? Is there something that we were not able to answer? Please ask. Please let us know. Like, comment, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram. Let us know what we can do to provide more digestible content to you, and we would love to hear your thoughts. And stay tuned for more in this series, as long as it's what you guys want, and just let us know the feedback, and we'll keep it all in mind. So again, my name is Kevin, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.